I sent it to Mario and was like, well, we have this song lying around. What do you think of this? And he's like, I'm obsessed with this song. This is the best song. And I'm like, okay, so I guess we need a new drummer. And
you kicked him out of the band? My name's Adam, and this is about you and your journey in music.
Cool.
Awesome. So I guess we always start off with where you're born and raised. So where were you born and raised?
Born and raised in New York City in Manhattan.
Wow.
Yeah, born at Mount Sinai. I'm a native New Yorker that still lives here. Rare breed.
Sure. Yeah, I'm from San Diego, and not in California. Not a lot of people born and raised in California. A lot of transplants there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What was it like growing up in the city? Did you have a lot of? I would imagine you had a lot of freedom.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of access to cool things. Like
Right.
I grew up near Lincoln Center. For me, going to musicals on Broadway was pretty normal, which is cool. I don't think growing up I realized the extent to which that was an advantage other people didn't have. But really, a lot of the access to live music is what I remember most, and what really kind of inspired me to pursue it myself. Jazz clubs, opera, show tunes, what have you. Really cool. But yeah, intense. Very intense.
Yeah, because you can essentially get anywhere. That's what I always think is crazy, is that you can get on a subway get on the subway and go like to Jersey. You can go anywhere, right? I mean, essentially, you have the freedom to just bail.
Yeah.
In California,
True, yeah.
you have to literally give a car or have a car to get anywhere.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about that yesterday. I have a lot of friends that live in LA, and there have been a few times where I've thought about jumping ship and moving there, and then I'm like, no, I can't sit in traffic for an hour to go a mile. I just can't do it.
Yeah, you're better off just walking.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a different pace for sure when it comes to that stuff. Even in San Francisco, I lived in San Francisco for a handful of years, and you could get around, but not as easily as you would think. I mean, you can get around the city, but if you're in the East Bay or anything else, it's not like as easy as it is there. So how did you get into music? I mean, obviously going to musicals and show tunes and all that stuff was in your childhood, but like, what did you play piano at a very early age, or like, where did your journey start?
So I actually did. I started taking music classes, like music theory classes, when I was about 4.
Whoa.
And so my dad was a musician. My grandfather was an opera singer, and my grandmother was a classical harpsichordist. So
okay, so it's all throughout your family, it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't think I really had a choice. But luckily I loved it, so it didn't matter. And then I did start taking piano lessons, I think the year after I started music classes, because there was another girl in my class taking piano lessons. I was jealous. So
you were taking music theory before even playing a note?
Yeah.
Like, so what well, correct me. I thought music, I don't really know. I didn't study music theory by any means. I like speaking to people on the subject, but not, I'm no, player by any means. But so isn't music theory more learning about why notes go with certain notes go together, and, or what's the real behind the curtain of music theory?
I think when you start, I mean, first of all, at a young age, I mean, they're not getting too advanced.
Sure.
But a lot of it is, learning to read music, just read music.
Oh, okay.
What a time signature is. I think I remember as a kid us having drums and learning how to like play different time signatures, and so like the very basic building blocks that help you kind of pick up an instrument. So
that's cool. I didn't realize that it was that in depth when it comes to even, I mean, prior to that.
Yeah. And like ear training too is a big thing. Just recognizing intervals and being able to know what the intervals are without, just by hearing them and not by seeing them on the instrument or seeing them on sheet music, which I think really has helped me as a singer. I mean, it really having the air training was invaluable. But
Sure.
yeah, I was a pretty serious child.
Well, you said your dad was a musician. Is he like professionally? Is that what he did?
Yeah, he did for a while. So he was not classical like his parents. He played guitar, had a rock band, grew up in Iowa. And their band was kind of like when they were teenagers, they would support other musicians touring through the Midwest. So like my dad played with Chuck Berry a bunch when he was touring through Iowa and the neighboring states there. So he did that for a while, and then in 1969, his whole band got drafted to Vietnam, except for him. So the band broke up, and he went to law school.
Oh, wow!
Yeah. So he kept playing.
Scathed, huh? I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, pretty.
Then he's what, a lawyer now?
Yeah. But he still plays a lot and
cool.
Makes me sing backup in his band.
Oh, so he's playing again. He's doing it
begrudgingly as a daughter. Yes.
Very cool. Well, okay. So you started playing piano, after you took the music theory class?
Yeah. So around 4 or 5, I started playing classical piano, which I really liked. I really liked composers like Chopin and Rachmaninoff. They were kind of like the angsty music I related to growing up. You know, some people have like Fiona Apple or Tori Amos, and I had my French, moody composers that channeled my teenage rage and hopelessness. But yeah, I think, and then it wasn't really until I think I was like 11 or 12 where I just started noticing I kind of had a talent for singing. I did it in school, sang in the chorus, and by college, I think I really gravitated towards jazz and blues. So that's kind of how that journey went. It was very chronological.
Sure. No. Yeah. Did you go to college for music?
I did minor in music in college. I was going to major, and I was a very irreverent college student. So I just seemed to disagree with all of my professors about various things. So I ended up minoring instead of majoring in music. But initially my intention was to go there for music. So I still came out okay the other end.
Sure. Did you have bands in high school or college?
First band I was in college. Yeah. I sang backup and some lead. It was fun, but I went to a school. I went to Dartmouth, which is very frat heavy.
Okay.
So like live music, there weren't a lot of bands on the scene like you would expect in a college. There was just a lot of drinking and beer pong.
Right. What about go ahead.
I was in a band, and I actually, there were a couple bands I was in that never made it to their first show. But yeah, it was an experience. Yeah.
When did you begin writing music or writing songs?
I started writing in college. I think I would sometimes hear melodies and think of lyrics, and so I just started writing everything down in college. And then when I graduated, I went to work at a recording studio and learn how to be a sound engineer, and they would let me demos for free and stuff like that. But I was very nervous at first to share my songs. I felt like they were so personal and vulnerable, and you play these really intimate these intimate stories for people, and then they judge you. And so I was very scared people were not going to like what I wrote, because it was like, in a way, an extension of myself. It was like, well, if you don't like my songs, you don't like me. It was very hard for me to get the guts to finally play them live, but eventually I did. I had a lot of support from the people at the studio, and they were very nice. But I think I wasted like 6 years
Just not
hiding.
being vulnerable enough to show
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. What made, like, how'd you overcome that and say, okay, I'm gonna just, screw this, I'm doing it.
I was singing at an open mic. I had developed this like karaoke addiction,
Okay.
where I would go to karaoke and I would spend like at least $100 bribing the DJ to let me cut in line and skip everybody.
Which
And
is
then
a nightmare in itself, right? I mean, those guys have it made, because then
yeah,
it's always like, all right, hey, I'm Adam, this is karaoke night. First, you're gonna have to hear me sing 3 songs, then I'm gonna let my friends go, and then I'm gonna do 2 more.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you never get a chance. You put your
yeah.
name in, 4 hours in, you get to sing your song, and that's if someone else didn't choose it.
Exactly. I think eventually I was like, I'm spending a lot of money on this. Maybe I should start a band. Maybe, clearly I like to sing.
Uh-huh.
So I started singing at open mics around the city, and there was a guitarist that was starting a band and needed a singer and happened to show up to one of the open mic nights I was in, and he asked me to join his band, and I played him some of my original songs and he really liked them. I was like, all right, okay. So
Okay.
finally showed them to someone whose opinion I respect, and he says they're good. So I guess this is okay. I can get on stage and do this. And we had like a big album release and thought it was going to be great. And then after the album release, he informed me the band was done. So we had like one big show, recorded an album and everything. And then he was like, that's all I wanted to do. And I thought, well, I thought we are going to tour and play more shows. What's the deal? And luckily, another guitarist approached me and wanted to write songs. And that's the guy I'm still writing with today, 11 years later. But
oh, wow. And that was kind of the beginning of this band now?
Yeah, Lizzie and the Makers. Yeah, I think
Wow.
there is, it's a big city and you hear stories about people being discovered and you think they're BS and it doesn't happen anymore. But there's so much to timing in this city. It really is a small world, like musically. Like I feel like so many projects I'm involved in are just word of mouth, or someone knows somebody, or I happen to be at this show at this time when this person's getting off stage. And it's really cool that it happens so organically. It's not just going online and going on Craigslist and finding postings and auditioning for bands and stuff like that. It's a tight-knit community for sure, but everything I owe to just timing, basically.
So finding that the other person to join the band, was that like did you keep all the same songs? Like, was that the first variation of Lizzie and the Makers? Was this thing that you started with this other guy and then he ends up leaving after you put the first record out? Is that what I'm following here?
So the first band was not Lizzie and the Makers. So that was the first band was a blues band, and I did write a couple songs. And then that band was supposed to play a show, but the guy informed me the band no longer existed. So I was working at Pete's Candy Store, which is a music venue in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and word got out that I had a gig but no band. And so a guitarist that played at the venue approached me, that was Greg, saying, I hear you're looking for a band, I want to be in it. And so we came up with a band name sitting at the bar looking at the bourbon on the shelf.
The Makers.
Going down the line, and yeah, it's like, Lizzie and the Jamesons, Lizzie and the Bullets.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. We almost
there are some pretty solid bourbon names, aren't there? I didn't think about that.
Lizzie and the Old Granddads. I don't know. They all could work one way or another. But Lizzie and the Overholts, I don't know if that would work. But
still sounds decent. I don't know. It's funny. Lizzie and the Jamesons is the only one I'm kind of like, that's. I mean, it's 2 names, maybe not, but like all the other ones you just spouted out were solid names.
They kind of work. Yeah, I know.
That's funny.
I actually have a friend who started a new band, and I helped her name it, and they're called Mel and the Tall Boys.
Oh,
he was just sitting
same
there
concept.
Tall can of beer, and I was like, "How about that?" She's like, "Great." So if you ever need a band name, just go to a bar.
Go to a bar and choose something in the 40s. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
There you go. That's cool. So this newest record you put out, this is your second album, right?
Our second full-length album.
Full-length album. Okay. Well, once the band's going, tell me about the first little victory that you guys have had.
Well, I guess I would say two things. One is we played, our first festival was Pleasantville Music Festival, and that was really exciting because we were playing right before Robert Randolph in the Family Band, and
wow,
love him.
Yeah,
and I'm so nervous, and I was like, yes, this is happening. It's like we're opening for him. He's going to take us on tour. We're going to be best friends. Of course, that hasn't happened yet. But
he's cool. I interviewed him before.
He's great. I love him, and we run into each other every now and then, and but I was very nervous that day to talk to him because but I would say that was like our first little victory of being like recording artists on a big stage with other like really successful bands that we admire. Also, I would say that making of this recent album, working with two producers, Reeves Gabrels, who played with David Bowie and in the 90s and is in The Cure.
I didn't know he's in The Cure too. Wow.
Yeah, since like 2012, I think, for the last
was he play guitar?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then just having him come to one of our shows and deciding he wanted to work with us, that was pretty cool.
That's huge. So he approached you guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I still don't believe it. I'm still like, are you sure? There's so many bands out there. Are you sure you want to work with us? But
that's cool.
But yeah, that was a pretty good victory, it felt.
And then the other one on the record also, he produced what, Bowie and Prince?
Yeah, Mario McNulty, yeah.
And I know the name Mario McNulty. Did he work, I guess, well, they were both played with Bowie, right?
That's how they knew each other from.
Okay. So did he pull in Mario?
He invited Mario to one of our shows, and they had been trying to find something to do together. They were looking for a project, and then Reeves was like, I think this is the project. And he invited Mario to the show, and Mario was like, great. They loved all our songs, and it was a perfect fit. But it was cool that I didn't have to, that they came to us.
No, for sure. And then when that happens, do you have songs that you hadn't recorded? Like once they get involved, like what happens next? You guys go to the studio right away and they're kind of helping you work through the songs. Like what role did they play in the record? So
we had basically sent them demos of the songs that we wanted to record. And at first it was just going to be an EP. I think we had 6 songs. And they were one of the things I liked about working with them is they didn't try to change our sound, or they didn't really do a lot to make things sound unlike us. They really wanted our voices to stand out as they were, but they had like little ideas, like just from their experience, little details that could be changed. Maybe play this chord instead of that chord here, maybe make this bridge shorter. Little things like that, but all those little things together really just polished the songs up and really kind of made them stand out more than they were before. I think we always knew we just needed like an outside perspective a little bit on the songs. When you write them, you're so inside of them, it's hard to tell, like, is this good? Is this bad? Am I overthinking this, or what needs to happen here? And so that was really cool. That we were able to work with them, and they liked our authenticity and wanted to kind of champion that, and not come in and be like, we're going to make you a pop band and change everything, because I've seen that happen to Friends, and it really never ends well.
They're like, we're going to make you sound like David Bowie, since we were both involved with him at one point.
Exactly, right? And we were a little worried about that. We were like, what's going to happen here? Like, how weird is this going to get? And it just, they really enhanced what we were already doing, which was cool. And then I went through a breakup, so we went back into the studio because I had
more material, huh?
So, and then, so then we made it a full album, and and we're already writing. I think we're like 6 songs into the next album. So,
wow, you guys never stop working.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff has gone down.
You can cuss, by the way. I've noticed that you've tried to hold back twice.
I know.
I'm like, I should probably just say something that she can say whatever the hell you want.
I curse like a truck driver a little bit.
Go for it.
A lot of shit went down.
Yeah, get a few out. Why not?
These last 2 fucking years. We've had a lot to write about. So.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
okay. Well.
Going.
So you have the record out, like, so you went in as an EP, and then how long goes in between you're going, this breakup happens, I need to get back in the studio and put some more songs down? Like, was there a good chunk of time or no?
I think it was, the first recording days were in August, and then we went back in November.
Oh, okay.
So not a huge amount
of time. Yeah.
We had also had this other song already written that it's called Waiting for the Teeth, and it's like a very ambient song. And when we first brought it to the band, our drummer at the time didn't get it, which I didn't really like or care that he didn't get it. I was like, just play the song, but it just he wasn't vibing with it. And so we kind of shelved the song and never brought it back. And then I sent it to Mario and was like, well, we have this song lying around. What do you think of this? And he's like, I'm obsessed with this song. This is the best song. And I'm like, okay, so I guess we need a new drummer. And
you kicked him out of the band?
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of things, lots of reasons behind that. But yeah, it's like I was talking about before. It's like sometimes you have songs and people don't get them, and it's so easy to think, well, this is a bad song. But you just have to find the right audience, and
just a bad opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right.
Wow. That's great that you had that validation from somebody that you looked up to. I mean, somebody that has cred, right? That was like, no, this is the best song you've ever done. And it's like, oh, well, maybe we rethink the input that's coming from this side of the room.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he had no reason to lie to us or
right
boost our egos in any way.
Sure. Wow, that's cool. And does that song make the record, or is this something that you guys are working on now? Okay.
Yeah, that one was on the record. It's pretty cool. It's actually, we got the title from I think it was an Australian surfer who, there's like a video going around that was viral of him basically almost getting eaten by a shark while he was surfing.
Oh,
and
wow.
like a boat comes and like pulls him on board as the shark is like and saves his life.
Jaws him.
They asked him in an interview what was going through his mind when he saw the shark was coming, and he said, oh, I was waiting for the teeth. So we use that as the song title, and the song is kind of about bad relationships. So it's like, you feel like you're just waiting for the teeth to come down.
Waiting for the teeth.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Very. Well, that's funny how that works, right? I mean, it lands a record. It's their favorite song, and it was one that you weren't even considering at the beginning.
But may never have seen the light of day, and yeah, it's pretty strange when that happens. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, it looks like you have some shows coming up. So you've been playing recently enough. Did an album release in September?
We did that in November.
Oh, November.
And
the record came out in what?
The record came out in November.
10th ish.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because the show is on November 10th, so I would get confused.
Yeah, I know. I think the record came out.
The record came out on the 5th. 5th?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Not that it really matters. We're splitting hairs here, but okay. So you had a show at the Cutting Room for the album release.
Yeah,
and you have another show soon coming up, right? Or
we do. We are playing at Arlene's Grocery on February 17th. And there's also a place in Red Hook, Brooklyn that we play once a month called San Pedro Inn, and that's our Arlene's show is more of our original stuff. The monthly shows at San Pedro are like 3-hour sets of like fun soul music and dancing. We play our original stuff too, but those are really, really fun to go to also. And yeah, just trying to hang in there while things get canceled and rescheduled. And
right, what a weird world we're in.
I know, I'm over it.
Yeah, I know, it's wild to think that like almost 2 years later ish, close to 2 years, we're still in the same situation that we were. I mean, it's unfortunate, but
I know. I really
sooner
didn't
than
think we
later.
would be.
I didn't think so either. I was like, yeah, this will blow over in 2 weeks.
Right. Last
But-
Christmas, I bought my family like these masks with candy canes on them because I thought, oh, this will be cute. And then I threw them away because I'm like, we're not going to need these next Christmas. And we certainly did. And we're still here.
Yeah. It was like my wife got like an ornament for the tree. Something to do with like toilet paper, you know, because it was like that was the thing that everyone decided to buy, which is, I still don't understand. But like it's like, why not get food? I'm just gonna the toilet paper is necessary. But she had some ornament, and then it's like, oh, we were hanging it up. And it was like, this sucks. This is still like something you could have got this year, and people would have been like, it was no big deal. Like, I don't know, it's the same thing, but hopefully sooner than later it'll all come to an end. We'll see.
Eventually.
I appreciate your time, Lizzie. You've been awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more question for you. I want to know if you have advice for aspiring artists.
Well, going back to what I was saying before, I feel like I wasted a lot of time doubting myself or being nervous. And I would just say, like, you got to put yourself out there and keep trying and keep pushing. Don't give up. You might write some bad songs. We all do. But yeah, just don't waste. You know, I really probably spent about 8 years, like, just being too nervous to share my music with people. And if you can overcome that, I think that's really my best advice. Just put yourself out there. It gets easier the more you do it.